Hello, this is the Harboring Light. I'm Mary. I give a conservative perspective about the world around me. So feedback is immensely important, and feel free to reach out. And I can't stress enough how I appreciate the listeners who have done so. All right, so some of the audio platforms that I'm on Speaker, Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music. These are just to name a few. And also I have a Shopify link. If you're interested in customized t-shirts, tumblers, special requests on, to extend it out, special requests on different t-shirts that is not available on my shop, or you have suggestions about what you would like to see on my shop, feel free to take a look and put your input. All right, so, or shop, of course. So, this episode is all about fan theories, focusing in on the show Poker Face. Here we go. All right, so my thoughts about the show before I get into the facts of the matter of everything. So, as I said earlier when I was talking about Monk, and there is a lot of Columbo references, and the cadence in her voice, the way that she pays attention to deductive reasoning is very reminiscent to the aspects of Columbo. And the how a show like Columbo really, it was comical, how the actor I'm trying to think about his name, but it's not Peter Scalara, that's a different guy, but is that tip of the tongue phenomenon. Anyhow, he did all these things he was really good at being a master of disguise, and that goes along the lines of a lot with this show Poker Face is using mastery of illusion, or to avert attention in order to gain access to what you're looking for. And so she used that a lot with her tactics when she was playing poker, and then she was very professional at it, and she did everything with that. But I'm not going to tell too much if y'all are interested in watching this series. But when she found herself into coming into terms about her life and what she deems as valuable and important in a person that is very valuable and important to her, and what happened to that friend, and how she went on and then escaping and everything, and then meeting all these assorted people, and how that interlines in the aspects of the illusion of something is in everything. And she was really good at paying attention to what's not real versus what deductive reasoning, using your deductive reasoning behind that. And so that was a lot that was going on with Columbo. He understood very well that everyone in everyone in essence, all these people who thought they could just and manipulate or fool, there's always a tell. And she understood that well in Poker Face too. There's always a tell. There's always something that isn't quite right. And so Also, along the way, I like to point out too, her worldview starts to change. For instance, and I think this sums up a lot of what's really, really to take a second look at this show. And here's the case for that. So there was this one episode where she is going into town, in a Texas town, and it's a small town, but predominantly with the people, with the main attraction to this town is the good barbecue here. And so she's listening, and it's very interesting because the way the show overarches is it shows what happens, how the person demises, or how the person commits the acts of killing, and then it goes back to the beginning to where she is in the scene. All right, so Little Real, the comedian actor, he's in this episode along with other people who aren't as notable as he is. Excuse me, I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry. And so the brother that is the masterful barbecue chef of the town, and has really bankrolled and put a lot of people from being attracted to going into this town, just for the barbecue. And it's really made Little Real, which is his brother, and his wife quite successful. So the main character, she just inadvertently, he knows that she needs a job, so he lets her, gives her helping hand. She's working there and everything, and she inadvertently gives him a movie, and it starts to change his worldview about everything, to the point to where he does not want anything to do with meat. Now, this is very relevant to the aspects of her arc about worldview too. She doesn't quite understand that, when you, and at that time, when you impose something on someone, sometimes, that is not her responsibility anyway, but it's very prevalent to the aspects of circumstances, and influence does mean something. Even though, some people like to say otherwise, it does mean something. So, also, this town has a predominant local radio station. And so she runs across this lost dog, and he's very ornery, and she doesn't know what she was trying to get rid of it, but it just seems to still like her anyway. And so by off chance, she stumbles upon, she's trying to say, calm the dog down, put on some music for the dog. And then there's a station that's saying this really hyperbolic, stereotypical imagery of what is left liberal leaning mentality of how conservative or Republican people think. And so it turns to find out it really is, because it's this guy who is a theater. It turns out he's a theater major or something, and it's just a character. He doesn't actually believe any of that. He's just a character. And then it just speaks to the aspects of that notion too. Now that relates to this other episode that is in this show. And, she is really, she goes to a I got nursing retirement home community, right? And so these two women are telling her about their experience, around, I would say the early 70s, because that was still around the time where people were still, we got to bring down the system. We are all about taking down the man, being very radicalized, right? The sort of militant mentality that was very prevalent in the 60s. And these two women were, call themselves being a part of the revolutionary. And so it turns out that this guy who was the head leader of it just inadvertently comes to their retirement nursing home. And so they both look at each other, and they say, well, we got to take this guy out. So it turns out that these two women, they weren't all that good. They think that it was prevalent to take down innocent people, but not only that's just awful in itself. Why would you want to harm anybody? And why would you want to harm somebody that's innocent? Why would you want to harm someone when they're not attacking you and you're not defending yourself or anything like that? Not only that, they were high school kids, and they think, because they just have different viewpoints, and they just wanted to come and just gather together and talk about these things. No, they want to take them down, and ultimately take them down by killing them. And so when she finds this out, the main actress from Poker Face, that and again really turning her worldview about, hey, maybe there's a lot of more nuances than, what I previously thought. Like, hey, maybe I should dial it down here. Like, maybe this is really, really something. And so I think that it's another really good element to the aspects of this show, because it seems as if, this is from my point of view, though. Seems as if every time that she gets in these different situations, she meets these different characters, they in itself helps her evolve into having a more developed mind frame about things. Now, needless to say that she didn't already have a developed mind frame about things. It's more balanced, and I think that's quite interesting about them alluding to a lot of things and about the aspects of how that relates into the real world situations that happen, especially when you see what's going on and how things are so it's so ridiculous how things are just so polarized now when it just doesn't have to be. All right, so with all that said, I am going to get into the facts about the show, the fan theory facts about it. Here we go. All right, and of course, sources will be provided for you in this episode. Okay, so it says, a predominant fan theory surrounding Poker Face centers on the character Good Buddy. So this is later on into the series. A mysterious figurehead, but never seen on the CB radio that Charlie Cale uses during her travels. Voiced by Steve Buscemi, Good Buddy is a constant presence in Charlie's life, after offering philosophical discussions and a listening ear as she recounts her latest case. While he appears to be a supportive friend, fans speculate that he may be more than he seems. Some theorize he is following Charlie despite the limited range of the CB radios, suggesting he could be stalking her or working with her enemies, such as Beatrice swaps her rival families. Others believe his careful, worded responses, which avoid triggering Charlie's lie detecting abilities, are a deliberate tactic to conceal his true intentions. And more dramatic theory points that Good Buddy is not not real at all, possibly a figment of Charlie's imagination, a guardian angel-like figure, or even a patient in a coma who is talking to her in a hospital. The theory that he could be one to save Charlie, or she might eventually investigate his murder. It is also popular as his role could become pivotal in resolving the overarching mystery of Charlie's past. So the show's creator, Ryan Johnson, has acknowledged also to this that the show's inspiration is coming from Columbo, as I mentioned. And some fans believe Good Buddy's existence is an homage to that series, adding a layer to a more in-depth analysis about it. All right, so I'm going to get into some more theories. So there's one theory says that the guys from Connecting the Dots are going to be the main characters for an episode. So maybe one of them has a falling out and the other and decides on murder. Charlie's lie detecting still works in other languages. It may not be obvious yet, but even if Charlie doesn't understand the language, she can still somehow tell when someone is lying. So the problem, of course, being how she figures out what's being said before she can unravel the lie. And I guess this goes along the lines of, this is kind of a strange fan theory to me. It just seems like they're stating facts or something. But that does go a lot with the aspects of the universal language of body language that speaks and tells and on people's faces, that speaks a lot to what someone is actually saying. How that whole phrase of look at their actions, don't look at the details and what they're phrasing or what they're saying. It's more important to pay attention to that. And so I think that's adds on to that. So let me see. It says there's a fan theory that says Good Buddy was a agent, and so the agent's voice is similar to the iguana when the agent is using one or two to this. Thus, the agent could very well be Good Buddy. What, sweetie? No, put the baby down. Put the baby down. Okay? No, you can't have these babies in here. They can't be in here. Okay? They can't be in here no more.
Why?
Because they cause too much issues. So we have cats now, and so I'm going to. I know, yeah, but they're gonna be okay. Okay, all right. So I'm gonna wrap up and say these things here. So I think it's always good when there are shows that try and meld the aspects of reality of the situation of things. All right, so I think that it's very relevant and good when shows talk about things that mainstream media mainly dances around with and just goes there. So I'd like to know what y'all think. Feel free to reach out to me. This reaches the end of the Harvey Light. Tune in, turn up, and definitely take care. Bye-bye for now.